Hi, Paul.
Hi, Anna.
Guess what I found? I found it from the parking lot.
Oh
It's
yeah,
heavy.
it's a Magneto. A Magneto is it's a AC generator that has a permanent magnet, and it uses electromagnetic and induced current to provide high voltage pulses of current to the spark plugs at each cylinder.
Wow.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Do you know anything about it? Could you tell me about what this is?
This one? You should put a finger.
Huh?
Primary circuit has primary coil, which inside of ignition coil, which is to step up high voltage to create a spark. Rotating magnet, this induce current. Breaker point, this is a mechanical device that control current, cam, driven by the rotating magnet and open the breaker point. And capacitor, this one collapse magnetic field. Okay, so whenever primary circuit is energized, breaker points are closed, capacitor is charging. When rotating magnet is in E-gap position, cam, this one open the breaker point, therefore capacitor collapse primary winding. Then voltage induced into the secondary coil from primary coil.
So I'll be talking about the secondary circuit. I'll be starting with the secondary winding in the ignition coil, the distributor gear, the distributor block. The secondary winding consists of 13,000 turns of fine gauge wire. This ratio of turns is capable of producing 20,000 volts. The 20,000 volts then goes to the high tension terminal, which has electrical contact with the carbon brush. The carbon brush has an electrical connection with the distributor finger, which is spinning around inside of the distributor block. The distributor gear is being turned by this drive gear on the rotating magnet. While the distributor finger is turning around the inside of the distributor block, every time the rotating magnet is in E-gap position, the high voltage jumps to the electrode on the other side of the distributor block. It then goes through the other side of the distributor block to the spark plug receptacles where the spark plug leads are connected. These are spark plug leads, and right here this is what connects to the magneto at the distributor cap, and it sends the high voltage through the leads, and these connect to the spark plugs at each cylinder. The spark plug leads have metal shielding in them to reduce electromagnetic radiation, which causes radio interference. What do you know about the spark plugs, Anna?
So this is spark plugs. Not too heavy. So this one pretty much made of a metal shell outside, and inside you can see insulator to prevent current leakage, and electrode assembly. It's really simple. So this one, once this one gets high voltage, create spark and burn the fuel and air mixture in the cylinder. Hey Richard, I got something for you. You always told me you wanted a capacitor, right?
So this capacitor goes inside of a magneto. You'll find it installed like this. This lead will go out to the contacts, the breaker points, and then this sits against the case ground. When the contacts are closed, this charges. When the contacts are open, it discharges and increases the rate of collapse for the magnetic field, increasing the value of the spark. They need to be tested, make sure that they don't leak. You check them with DC power for leakage, AC power for capacitance, and this one is rated at 400 volts. Capacitor, part 10 TAC 163131 has been superseded by part number 10 TAC 357281, which has continued to be superseded by part number 10 TAC 400572, which is the current part we are using today. We will be testing the capacitor. We'll be using a condenser tester.
This goes in here, right?
We will check for capacitance, which must be at least 0.3 microfarads. Capacitance measurement. Connect the unknown capacitance to the test terminal. The voltage switch is not used in this test. Set the type switch to its lower position. We will be using 0.01 for the reading of 30 microfarads. Read the value of capacitance on the C scale and multiply the range by the selected switch. So if we read capacitance, that's 30 multiplied by 0.1, 30, and it continues to go up from there. Leakage test is setting closing and then returning at normal shadow angle indicates a satisfactory capacitor. After the leakage test, return the bridge leakage switch to discharge position. When the eye tube opens, the capacitor is under test, is discharged and safe to handle.
I will be doing a video on the impulse coupling of the Magneto today. So this is a fully assembled impulse coupling with the flyweights right here. The stop pins are on the Magneto. This is the spring uncoiled. This is the impulse coupling body. This is the cam assembly with the flyweights. And the flyweights also have springs in there. And then this is a halfway taken apart one, which does not have the flyweights on it. And it shows you the coiled spring in there. So how this impulse coupling works is when the engine is being started by the starter, the camshaft is not turning fast enough for the Magneto to sustain a spark. These connect with the stop pins, which stops this spinning, and the continuous engine motion winds up the spring on the inside. And whenever it is wound up to the proper moment, it flings it forward so it spins fast enough to create a high energy spark. So when the Magneto reaches its coming in speed, the centrifugal force acts on the flyweights and pulls it out so it is no longer engaged.
Ah, yes, the barbecue. Lovely time to socialize, eat hamburgers, or whatever you barbecue. But you're not here for that. This is what you're here for, the Bendix Magneto. And what you're going to learn here is how to time that Magneto properly. Because otherwise, it'll lead you to kickbacks, reduce RPMs, and all other sorts of problems. So let's get started, shall we? And first, I'll tell you what you're going to need because I'm tired of holding this. So you got your Bendix kit, which holds the rotary holding tool, pointer assembly, and timing plate assembly. And don't forget your screwdriver because you'll need that. Opening up our breaker cover, we can find 2 breaker points, a capacitor, and all sorts of wires. Closer, we have your main contact breaker and then your retard contact breaker. Before assembling your Magneto, please mark on the gear assembly the proper chamfered tooth and indented timing marks. Use the manual to help you with this part because I can't. Also, this is a clockwise Magneto. So then we want to see this painted tooth. set to E gap, and then time the main breaker point until the light goes on. Timing the retard contact breakers will require you to add 25 degrees to this magneto, as you could see earlier at the 25R. And once you time that properly, you should get this. And then the final result is this. Well, that is all for now to timing the magneto. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next time on the next adventure. Wait, not adventure. Crap.